Angela Deem of 90 Day Fiancé indicates whether she is enraged at Ilesanmi following her admittance of being lost and terrified. One of 90 Day Fiancé's most dramatic and poignant plotlines has been the tumultuous relationship between Angela Deem and Ilesanmi. Viewers from all over the world have been captivated by their tumultuous journey, which is full of love, tension, cultural differences, and significant life obstacles. Fans are unable to ignore the unmistakable dynamic that has been generated by Michael's more composed manner and Angela's intensely passionate and honest nature. Angela recently talked about how she feels about Michael, displaying some honest thoughts that seem to be a mix of vulnerability, perplexity, and uncertainty. Following a flurry of hardships, such as their long-distance relationship, visa complications, and Angela's efforts to strike a balance between her love and her personal goals, Angela has acknowledged that she feels lost and terrified. She also addressed the potential of harboring resentment toward Michael, inquiring as to whether the challenges they have encountered together have driven her to the brink. Their relationship's current status is called into question by this disclosure. Is Angela just negotiating the difficulties of love under duress, or does she actually have bitterness toward Michael? And after the cameras stopped rolling, how has their relationship actually turned out? The cross-border battles of love. The relationship between Michael and Angela has been anything but typical. Their kinship was strong from the first time they met, but the difficulties they encountered weren't. An online connection brought together Michael, from Nigeria, and Angela, from Georgia, USA, and developed into a passionate romance. But soon after, they were both confronted with the realities of long-distance relationships. Because of the distance and the administrative obstacles separating them, Angela's need for closeness and her desire for Michael to be at her side were ongoing obstacles. Fans watched Angela struggle with the uncertainty surrounding Michael's visa application in the first few seasons of 90 Day Fiancé. The tension that international couples experience was vividly depicted by their frequent back and forth regarding the difficulties in obtaining the required paperwork to permit Michael to travel to the United States. But tensions weren't limited to the visa problems. There have been heated arguments as a result of Angela's somewhat direct and brazen approach to problem solving. In contrast, Michael tended to play a more submissive role, refusing to fight or inflame the situation. Angela and Michael seem to have a strong emotional bond in spite of these problems. But occasionally, their divergent objectives and ideals overwhelmed their relationship. While Angela's fiery and impetuous attitude drove her to seek for rapid fulfillment, Michael preferred to take things gently and frequently expressed the need for tolerance and understanding. They developed a passionate yet erratic dynamic as a result of this combination. Lost and terrified describes Angela's vulnerability. The emotional toll this relationship has taken on Angela is revealed by her recent remarks that she feels lost and terrified. The fact that Angela is a lady who doesn't hesitate to express her opinions and is open about her anxieties shows how much she values her relationship with Michael. The toll that a romantic connection has taken on her emotional health is just as important as the partnership's highs and lows. Angela has talked candidly about her worries in interviews, both in her own life and in regard to Michael. She has been burdened by the idea of growing older, the uncertainty of the future, and the continuous battles with her weight and health. Angela has been under a lot of pressure to strike a balance between her relationship and her personal objectives. Although it is evident that she loves Michael very much, she has also expressed the uncertainties and worries that come with being in a cross-cultural relationship, when cultural and familial expectations might not always coincide. Angela has also acknowledged that her inner anguish has been exacerbated by the burden of her health concerns. She has been candid about her challenges with weight loss and cosmetic surgery, suggesting that her personal struggles are influencing her relationship and self-perception. Her openness regarding these parts of her life reveals a side of Angela that viewers would not see on television, one that is coping with extreme insecurity and anxiety about the future. Angela has persisted in defending her connection with Michael in spite of these emotional obstacles, stating that she is dedicated to him and their shared existence. However, the more profound query still stands. Does Angela have resentment against Michael for failing to provide the emotional support she requires? Does Angela harbor resentment for Michael? It can be difficult to keep a grudge in a relationship, particularly when one partner feels mistreated or misinterpreted. When things aren't going well in her relationship, Angela doesn't hold back from expressing her dissatisfaction because she has always been honest about her feelings. But occasionally, her words and deeds imply that there is more going on. Angela has previously faced Michael on a number of topics, such as his unwillingness to carry out specific tasks or his incapacity to live up to his family's expectations. These occasions frequently result in emotional outbursts, and spectators have seen Angela's ferocious temper flare up. Michael, meanwhile, has a tendency to be more passive, which occasionally gives Angela the impression that he isn't entirely committed to finding solutions to their issues. There has been conjecture that Angela may have some residual animosity against Michael as a result of the distance caused by their different communication styles. But it's crucial to keep in mind that Angela's annoyances might not be directed at Michael specifically, but rather at the situation in which they are together. Anyone can become really stressed out by the reality of attempting to build a future together while living in two different countries and dealing with a lot of challenges. Angela may have vented her irritation and rage at Michael as a result of the weight of these difficulties, but it's also likely that her emotions were more directed at the circumstance than at Michael specifically. Instead of harboring resentment, Angela's statement that she feels lost and terrified can indicate that she is struggling with feelings of doubt regarding her relationship with Michael. Emotional turmoil brought on by a dread of the unknown can lead to people snapping at those closest to them during difficult times. In Angela's situation, Michael is the person she loves, and the one she has faced the most difficulties with. It can be challenging to manage the complicated emotions that result from this dichotomy of love and impatience. Additionally, it's critical to keep in mind that relationships change with time, particularly when faced with hardship. During their time on 90 Day Fiancé, Angela and Michael's relationship has changed a lot. Both of them have grown and changed between their first encounter till their wedding, some of which have been unpleasant and challenging to accept. Despite the obstacles they currently face, it is evident that they are still invested in one another, even though their future is unknown. The journey of Michael and Angela, what comes next? It's unclear how Angela and Michael will handle the difficulties of their relationship going forward, as viewers continue to follow their journey. Will Angela still struggle with feelings of uncertainty and fear? Will their disagreements drive them farther apart, or will Michael step up to provide Angela the emotional support she needs? Time will tell. The issue of whether Angela has resentment toward Michael might not be as straightforward as it first appears. She can be dealing with a complicated emotional web brought on by the strain and stress of their long-distance relationship, as well as her own personal difficulties. Angela might be attempting to understand her sentiments and determine what she really wants from her future with Michael, rather than carrying a grudge. Viewers of 90 Day Fiancé have witnessed Angela and Michael go through a variety of emotions and events, thus their relationship will always be fascinating. One thing is certain, their journey is far from over, regardless of whether they can put aside their differences and forge a meaningful future together. In conclusion, the relationship between Angela Deem and Michael Ilesanmi has become more complicated as a result of a recent revelation that she felt lost and terrified. The human aspect of their journey is highlighted by her emotional openness in sharing her worries and anxieties. Although it's simple to believe that Angela would harbor resentment at Michael for their continuous problems, the reality is probably more complex. Both of them have surely been impacted by the strains of their relationship, which have been exacerbated by personal hardships and cultural differences. The story of Angela and Michael's love is ultimately one of highs and lows, passion and annoyance, love and uncertainty. The larger problem might be their capacity to communicate and help one another through their difficulties, regardless of whether Angela has a grudge against Michael. It will take time to determine if they can get past the emotional barriers, preventing them from moving forward as a couple, or whether the demands of their relationship will become too much for them to bear. For the time being, viewers are still eagerly following Angela and Michael as they traverse their turbulent journey. It's unclear what will happen in their plot, but one thing is certain. Angela will always be an intriguing and sympathetic character for show viewers because of her emotional transparency and willingness to disclose her weaknesses. Her and Michael's complicated relationship, which is characterized by love, annoyance, dread, and hope, is a reflection of the difficulties that many real-life couples have. Fans will undoubtedly continue to be moved by their journey for years to come, regardless of whether they are able to conquer these obstacles together.